Thank you very, excuse me. Thank you very much, Your Worship, Mr. Mayor, and Markham councillors, senior staff that are here in the auditorium, and friends. I appreciate the opportunity to address this large group tonight on the occasion of the 220th anniversary of the founding of the city of Markham. I represent a much larger group of descendants of the earliest settlers and some more recent German immigrants who are located in the balcony. Can you identify yourselves? Come on, let's... We appreciate that you have gathered here tonight to help us honor this 220th anniversary event. Now let me begin with a quote from the John Henry Sommerfeld diary, written in German, translated, that is the only first-hand account we have of the journey of those first 200 people who came from Hamburg, Germany to Markham. That journey started in the spring of 1792 and ended in the fall of 1794. And Sommerfeld, as part of that group, had arrived in the town of York, now Toronto, from New York State earlier in the fall of 1794, and his diary states, and this is the part of the reason that we celebrate possibly at this time of the year. This is a quote from his diary. "I had the fever every day. When I was well, I made me a sled. Late in the fall, shortly before Christmas, Bursey let me have a yoke of oxen. Then I got underway, and also my wife, who carried one child on the back and drove the pigs. Between Christmas and New Year's, I came to my land, where I had to stay in the tent till spring. In that time, we three went together, chopped and brought wood together, and built us houses. In the spring, we moved in." And ladies and gentlemen, that was Christmas 1794, 220 years ago, right now. That 200 acres of land, the lot that he got, was located on Kennedy Road, directly opposite Angus Glen Golf Course. Interestingly, our farm is right next door to that property, and I walk that property often. The diary describes the journey across the Atlantic. In the words, "We were 13 weeks on the sea." And it describes the cutting of a new road north from Philadelphia through the Allegheny Mountains to Painted Post, New York State, just south of Rochester. I recently traveled that trail that now approximates Route 15 and 390. The old trail is referred to as the Williamson Road and was the first north-south road in the interior of the new United States. It was the same trail that 70 Pennsylvania German families used to travel from southern Pennsylvania to Markham in the very early 1800s. They came over that rough trail using Conestoga wagons pulled by 4 horses, like the one you saw as you entered the theater tonight. You may also notice the Pingle chest in the mezzanine of the theater. Janet Reed, curator at the Markham Museum, has taken close guard on it because that chest is the only original artifact of the Bursey settler migration to Markham that survived that tortuous journey. The Sommerfeld diary, in its very fragile condition, is also located at the Markham Museum. Thus, the first 2 settler groups in Markham were German-speaking, and 67 Lutheran families directly from northern Germany, and 70 families from Pennsylvania, many of whom were of the Mennonite faith. Interestingly, these original Lutheran and Mennonite congregations are still functioning today. Just a word about this man, William Mole Bursey, who led the first group of settlers to Markham, and who is considered the founder of Markham. I'm delighted that Don Purcell and some of his students from William Bursey Public School are here tonight to share in this. That school name was granted in 1975 from a nondescript name of a school called Mark II. Bursey was a painter by training, but became an entrepreneur and gathered a group from northern Germany who were anxious for free land in the new United States and Canada. William Bursey was born in Wallerstein in the community of Nordlingen, Bavaria, 270 years ago on December 10th. This is the reason for Markham's ongoing cultural partnership with Nordlingen, Germany. And interestingly, right today, William Bursey Public School is making contact into Nordlingen to arrange a transfer of information for that 270th birth date for William Bursey. Now, Bursey returned to his true calling after he moved to Montreal and is now considered an outstanding Canadian artist of the early 1800s. His paintings hang in the National Gallery in Ottawa, and several are in the possession of the Fred Varley Gallery on Main Street, Unionville. And I understand they will be on exhibit at the gallery on December 6 and 7 for all to see. We as a group here tonight are very proud of our German heritage, as many of you are of your cultural background. We remain very conscious of the hardships of these early settler families who arrived here in 1794 and early 1800s to a fertile land that was covered in forests, including what we kind of consider the famous Black Walnut Public School. There is a Black Walnut Public School, but Black Walnut trees. They saw the potential and worked hard to build their homes and mills, establish their farms and businesses, build their places of worship, their schools, and form the rural communities we know today. It is from this first Bursey settler group that we get the family names of Hagerman, Eckert, Stiver, Schmidt, Helmke, Luna, Quantz, and Pingle, to name a few. The group of 67 families who came from Pennsylvania by Conestoga wagon between 1803 and 1812 include the family names of Barkey, Brillinger, Beyer, Burkholder, Hoover, Reeser, Weidman, Wismer, Grove, and Miller. The full-size replica Conestoga wagon that we have out in the front has become the centerpiece of our storytelling about that early migration. We also remain pleased that these, and I struggle with the name, do we call them homesteader families or heritage family names? They have been used in naming the communities, the streets, the schools, and parks as a way to honor the heritage of Markham. And we appreciate that previous city councils have done this. The Bicentennial Monument here at the Civic Center serves as a permanent testimonial to those early settler families. I hope all of the new councillors will take a walk out behind the building and reflect on this fine monument built in 1994 at the time of our bicentennial. We, the descendants of all these early settlers, we embrace all the newcomers to our community, or some people refer to them as the new urban pioneers, and hope they will find success as our ancestors found success, and that they will adapt our societal values of honesty, hard work, strength of family, helping our neighbors, and supporting our communities. To the Council, I say thank you for honoring tonight the first intrepid settlers who started arriving 220 years ago, and for recognizing their contribution to the economic and social fabric of the city of Markham. In recognition of this, we are providing a simple early pioneer delicacy at your reception tonight, fresh-made apple fritters. I hope you enjoy them. In closing, I wish to encourage the new council in taking forward the community spirit that has been the basis for the successful City of Markham, and that you as councilors will continue to honor the city motto of leading while remembering. And we have a little special presentation tonight, and I would ask Dave Burkholder if he would say a word and make a presentation.
Thank you, Lauren. Your Worship, council members, Lauren has outlined the history of the families that came here in the early 1800s. My grandfather, L.J. Burkholder, and subsequently my father, Paul Burkholder, were instrumental in, with committee members, in preserving this history from the Reeser family. He mentioned there were Stivers and Eckerts and other groups. Of course, there was intermarrying with the two groups of the Berkshires and the Reesers and the other families. So this is a fairly significant record of those intermarriages and the Reeser family in Canada. And it's my pleasure as the Vice President of the Reeser family in Canada to present this to you, your Mayor. This is the hardbound copy. There's a little more user-friendly copy here.